Myron is at it again. Him and the Fresh and Fit clan. These guys are a joke. You know, for some reason, I don't know why they keep talking about our reparations and worrying about what we got going on. Where he's from the Sudan. I'm talking about the war in torn Sudan, where they still taking slaves and they got a South Sudan and the North Sudan, and they got all kinds of stuff going on. His family flees the Sudan, comes to New York, and he'd rather deal with the situation that's going on in Brooklyn in the 80s, right? In the 80s and the 90s, than rather be back home in his home country. He so-called made some money. They never went back home to try to build their own country. So now what he does is he comes here, he becomes a so-called dating coach. Because remember, I told you guys online, you could be the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. You don't have to show no credentials. You don't have to show nothing. All you got to do is have a little bit of, be charismatic enough to draw a crowd, and people will believe you in today's time. So they get a bunch of Instagram models that come up there just so they can get attention. And these guys them made a name for themselves, made some money. And they really believe the characters that they become, to the point where he gets online, instead of him just doing him, he wants to talk about African Americans. He wants to talk about our reparations. He wants to get into debates and battles where he's losing these debates. So he gets into a debate with Tariq Nasheed, and this happens.
Me that
Yeah,
if you're an immigrant, you cannot comment on
from the
other
Sudan. Yeah,
situations.
if you're from somebody, you're from the Sudan, you can't say about a foundational Black American. Nothing at
Interesting,
all.
interesting,
Nothing.
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay,
nothing.
with
You can't say
Tariq. So
nothing about
let's
us.
use your
Not
logic
one
then.
word.
Let's
You
use
come
your
from a
logic.
failed homeland where people are starving. You can't say about
Cool,
us. Yes,
cool.
that's
Then
how
let's
that works.
use your logic then.
That's how
Tariq,
that
let me
works.
ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
Do you have to be a mathematician to say 1 + 1 is 2?
No, sir. No. That's no. That's a
No.
non sequitur. It has nothing to do with anything. You come from a failed homeland where people are over there starving, and you
Mathematician
haven't
to say
figured out
1
how to
+ 1 is
stop the
2.
people from starving. So you can't come over here and talk
Oh,
about
here we go.
And then you see him when he puts his nose into our business, because see, the W class uses people like this to come and speak in the manner in which they speak, where they can't call it racism. So he's on Twitter. They're allowing him to talk this way. They know that he's not an African American. This is pure hate speech. They're allowing him to sue it, but then he gets into a conversation with another FBA, and he gets destroyed again. It sounded something like this.
Because you reparation guys
Myron.
always want handouts, and it's ridiculous to me. Because here's my question: if you're going to go ahead and say I want reparations, like all these other crybabies, let me ask you this: number one, who's going to pay for it? Number two, how do we identify who deserves it and who's going to get it? Number three, how are we going to be able to trace back lineage to identify you as a foundationally Black American? How far back are we going to go? Like, none of this stuff actually makes sense. And this is the problem when you want handouts. Who's going to pay for it and how are you going to actually implement it?
I have answered those questions. So first of all, the payments will come from where it's always come from, the federal government, like it's
The middle class.
other
The middle class.
But
Because you're paying for it. The middle class is going to pay for it.
answering your question. I'm answering your question. Number two, how do they identify who the foundational Black American? Before I even answer that, let's talk about handouts. You got a handout when your family was able to come here from war-torn, poverty-stricken Sudan. So let's not talk about handouts when I'm
Here we go.
when I'm speaking with a living, walking, talking handout right now.
So after he constantly gets his behind kicked online, he goes on to his Twitter, and he makes this FBA post. FBA equals frequently something all day, right? Cuss word. He says, you blanks were born in the greatest country in the world. Speak English, get free education, and English government welfare programs, but want to cry about white supremacy. Let me be candid and tell you what everyone outside the FBA community thinks, but will never say, because African Americans love to call everyone racist. You're lazy, ungrateful crybabies that blank about everything when you have more opportunity than 90% of humans on Earth. Try coming to a war-torn country, not speaking English, with no money to your name, and making something out of the opportunities FBAs didn't take advantage of because the man allegedly held you back. Shut up, stop crying, put in the work, and stop blaming others for your faults and lobbying the government to give you a handout your great-great-granddad is entitled to, not you. The victim mindset in the Black community is literally a fast-growing cancer, and I'm the only one with the balls to call you lazy F's out. This is crazy. Then he went on to say, American blacks that cry about reparations equals low IQ. Everyone laughs and cries. Everyone laughs at you crybabies behind the scenes. I'm the only one that tells you guys you're idiots to your face because I'm not scared. He basically said he's not scared to be called racist. And this is, the funny thing is, I've seen people like this man before. But what he doesn't know is he doesn't understand and know our history. We come from a great history of African Americans that's done everything in this country. He comes from a fleeing culture. They fled their nation and he came here, right? And he got a handout. He's talking about a handout, but if he's saying he's afforded the opportunities that America was able to provide for him, first of all, they allowed you to come in here. You were an immigrant. You came from a foreign land. This is not your home, and you came here. There's millions of African Americans that's taken advantage of the education and the things that was here, despite all of the things that we've been through, all of our educations, all of our accomplishments. We have an elite class. As you can see, we have a poor class, a middle class. We have all kinds of class of African Americans when you're dealing with our people. This immigrant doesn't know anything about our culture. But there was a man named Horace Morris. He was an associate director in the DC Urban League, and he was also a teacher. He played football at the University of Syracuse, and he was one of these elite, astute blacks. And he quickly found out when he went back home to visit Newark that he was just a Negro. No matter how much his education, no matter how much he experienced or what he went through, this is what happened.
The entire nation was made aware of the violence that erupted in Newark, New Jersey. I happened to be attending a National Urban League conference in New York, and my family still lives in Newark. And so I decided to visit them on the way back to Washington. And I visited with my stepfather for about a half hour or so. And we decided to visit with a sister of mine. So as we were going from my stepfather's apartment over to a brother's house to get in his car and go visit a sister who lived in another part of Newark, as we were about to get into the car, about 3 carloads of Newark police came around the corner, and without warning, and to my knowledge, without any provocation from us, opened fire on us and a group of about 40 or 50 people who were standing on the stoop of this apartment building where my brother lived. And my stepfather was mortally wounded, and I had another brother who was wounded twice, who required an operation and extensive hospital care. And we were under fire, I would say, for approximately 10 minutes by the Newark police. They said they were looking for a sniper on the roof or the upper floors of the apartment building, but they were still firing at ground level range. And once we had I had an opportunity to collect my senses and really evaluate and think this thing through. It came through to me in stark reality that regardless of how far up the economic ladder any Negro goes, that there's still this oppressive thing of prejudice that he's subjected to on the part of the white man here in America. And I realized that I was extremely fortunate not to be killed myself. And that even though I possessed 2 degrees, even though I had played football for Syracuse, even though I was an elementary school principal who had educated white children, even though I worked with white people in the Washington Urban League, even though there are white people that I consider close friends, that as the boys say, when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, right down to where it really matters, you're still a Negro, and you're still identified with every other Negro in America, be he in a ghetto or in a suburban neighborhood.
This guy is a walking handout and is a joke, but he's a representation of a lot of immigrants that come into this country, especially black, because in their country they were already fighting. I have African friends that's pulled me to the side and told me, George, A lot of these immigrants that's coming in now, these are the people that came from the elite class that was already oppressing other Africans. So when they come here with skill sets and money, and they already look down on you. So he was educating me as to what's going on in those countries where they come from. These are the people that come from the families that's already oppressing the people there. So they already don't like black people. So they come here, they are beholding to the W class. And you can see it in their behaviors. They can't wait to go over and get a W woman or a W man or join their parties and be a part of their systems against blacks. So he's not taking the time to understand our story or our history. But if you notice, whenever he goes up against black Americans with education, he gets smashed. His talking points he sound like he's saying something when he's alone. But if you notice, when he's having conversations with FBAs that know what they're talking about, he's not even in the conversation no more. He doesn't know our story, our great walk. Like I said, we come from people that invented damn near everything that's moving the times that we live in. We come from those people. We are descendants of the people that you did these things to. This is why we create organizations and we take children down to the museums, and we're teaching the young people their history so they can be unapologetic. So when they run into people like you, they know how to smash you with their words, not their hands. And they can let you know that you need to go back to your country then. Because we fought here. We've done every job, from being slaves to free, to working for wages, for low wages, with the Pullman porters, to fighting for union jobs, getting higher wage. A. Philip Randolph, he don't know nothing about our story and nothing about our history, anything, but he's just speaking. He's just speaking, not realizing that he wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for my grandparents and my people. Now, do we have a responsibility to do more in this country as African Americans? Absolutely. We definitely have responsibility to do more. And this is why I'm doing my part with the children of my community. And when we teach them about investments and going to school and regentrifying our own communities, we have to first give them a frame of reference of what blackness is so they can understand why they should be doing it. So when we create Urban Nerds, a STEM organization, we teach them the history too, but we also get them involved with the ever-changing technologies that's coming today. We're doing the work on the ground. And I look at Myron as a joke. It's a joke. How many people in the Sudan, young children in Sudan, is he helping? Oh, okay. Yeah. So when you see people like him, man, these guys is a joke, but a lot of these guys come from countries where they were already oppressing their own people, man. That's all I'm gonna say to that, man. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. This dude is a straight up joke. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time, peace.